Today let's do a system review of this setup we have here. Our solar setup is usually very simple. This is what we put inside the house. It consists of the smart hybrid low frequency inverter, the lithium iron phosphate battery, and the protection system. So let's take a deep dive into each of these components one by one. We have the smart hybrid low frequency transformer based inverter. This inverter here is very unique in a way that it can handle practically all loads that can be used in a household. This is the best inverter that can be available for home use. It has the capacity to hold inductive and resistive loads. In a normal home setup, we have resistive loads, which are basically heating elements, things like a percolator, flat iron, water heater, even lights, since they have resistors in them. Then we have the inductive loads. Inductive loads are things that have a running motor in them. Talk of the refrigerator, water pump, blender, washing machine. Those are the inductive loads, and these are basically the most common loads people have in their homes. This inverter here is able to produce enough linear power to support all those loads. It produces pure alternating current AC power, which is the same kind of power you get from the grid. That means that your house wiring does not need to change in any way. You just integrate this setup here into your existing house wiring, and the system will provide normal alternating current. It's also where our PV, the photovoltaic panels, come into this system here. The panels come into the two MPPT strings which we have here, and then the maximum power point tracking in this inverter is able to maximize output from each panel and then combine them to have a total output from the system. Now, when we are having a redundancy in the battery, let's say the battery is full and the panels are generating, that excess power being generated will go straight to the loads. This inverter has the capability of charging the battery and powering the loads at the same time. So it's also two-way. Two-way means that it's bidirectional. We have what we call net metering, where you can export the excess power you're generating to the utility provider. This is already in practice in countries like Morocco, South Africa, and Australia, where during the day, consumers that are generating excess power can export the excess to the utility provider through two-way metering. So at night, when they are getting power back from the utility provider, they are getting it at literally zero cost. That's how the term net metering comes in. In Uganda, net metering has just been formulated through the Electricity Regulatory Authority policy of 2023. So this inverter is able to support all that very well. When that finally comes into effect, customers with this kind of setup will be able to sell the excess generation they are having to the utility provider, and then of course get a credit from the utility provider. Now let's go into the lithium iron phosphate battery. In solar we have two types of batteries. We have lithium and the lithium iron phosphate. Lithium batteries are what we have in our phones, in basically small appliances. Lithium in such small applications is very stable. But now when we come to solar, we have to combine it with other elements. That's where the term lithium iron phosphate comes in. Lithium iron phosphate cells have better thermal management and are able to withstand greater loads and greater current flow, unlike lithium cells. So that means this battery practically will work for at least the recommended 6,000 cycles. When we talk about a cycle, we mean one charge and one discharge cycle. So when we do a little quick math, 6,000 will be practically about 15 years of use. Of course, this battery can last you up to 20 years if you use it within the parameters of not discharging it fully, and you only discharge it up to 80%. That means you leave this battery at 20% state of charge, and then you use it within the normal operating temperature. We are so lucky that here in Africa, our temperature is within the recommendations, normal room temperature, where this battery can operate. That's between 25 degrees and 30 degrees. So when you are using this battery in that temperature and you are not drawing current more than 0.5 C, when I talk about 0.5 C, I mean 50 amps charging and 50 amps discharging. You will be able to use this battery for up to 20 years of use. Now, let's talk about lithium again. Lithium cells, when we remember from our chemistry, when you get a small piece of lithium and put it in water, lithium will react violently with that water. So now that's the same case with our solar system here. Lithium alone is very unstable, but to get the maximum power from it, we combine it with other elements which include iron and phosphate. This brings about stability and better thermal management. That's what allows us to easily use these batteries for home use, which wasn't the case before. But thanks to research and innovation, we now have solar systems like this, which are able to power 100% of the entire house. Now, we also integrate the protection system. The protection system here, maybe if they could show you, it consists of the breakers. We have the DC breakers from the panel. We have the side protectors. We have the AC breakers. And then we have the voltage regulation. So what that means is that when the AC in is coming into this system, of course, you know, with the grid, sometimes it's very unstable and unreliable. So when power comes back with a huge surge, you know, usually when power comes back, there's a certain surge. The first few seconds, there's a power surge. So that power surge usually damages our electronic equipment. So to prevent that, we put a surge protector to arrest the surge and safely drive it to the ground. Then we also have issues of over and under voltages. I think many of you live in areas where in the evening, when almost everyone is utilizing power from the same transformer, let's say the transformer has been overloaded, it makes the voltage go low. Sometimes you get voltages of about 175 volts. So this protection system ensures that that voltage is blocked, and the only voltage which will come into our setup is voltage which is within the accepted threshold. That's between 185 to 245 volts. So this system, this protection box we have here, will do everything to do with the protection and all scenarios which may come up. So we also have the bypass changeover switch, which bypasses the system in case it's ever faulty. You can bypass this entire system and use power as though this system wasn't there. So if we install this system in a way that we put into consideration all possibilities to ensure that it will be able to provide for you power 100% of the time. Now let's go and we show you the panels. We have 6 solar panels here on the roof. The 2 at the other side. So this setup for this customer has a total of 8 panels. These are bifacial all-weather solar panels that will have a peak output per day of at least 30 units of electricity. That's 30 kilowatt hours. That's enough to charge the battery, which we have just shown you, and of course power the loads the customer has. So right now construction activities are still going on, and the team here will start using this solar system we have installed to use their grinders, welding machines, compressors, and all other loads they have here to ensure that this house is finished, powered by this solar system we have here. So let's just go through the system again. This is how it looks like. This is the brains of the solar setup. It manages everything. And another thing with this setup is that you can monitor this on your phone through, of course, you can monitor the number of units you have generated per day, how much you have consumed, how much CO2 you are saving, and how many trees you have planted. And also the energy saving can be easily monitored from this setup we have here. So at Troxon Electric, we ensure we design efficient, reliable, and sustainable solar systems that are able to power 100% of your home. And of course, you become totally energy independent.
Troxon Electric.